Find Freyja is not affiliated in any way with OkCupid or any other dating service. It is intended solely for critique and satire. If you find real wisdom or advice here, well, that's just a coincidence, baby. And now, it's time to get cozy.
I feel the skin that separates us start to fade, and when I lie on top of you.
Happy Freyja's Day!
And welcome again to Find Freyja, the podcast that turns online dating into a role-playing game. I'm Mark.
And I'm Natasha.
How you doing tonight?
Fantastic.
That's good. That's really good.
It's actually fantastic. to
That,
be
that is
precise.
that is the definition of really good. Oh, well, I guess it's
No,
not.
it's not.
I guess it's not now. It would be like of a fantasy, like of a fantasy
Fantastical
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your night is magical,
My night is magical.
full of Disney
Boy,
princesses. and
what magical hour this will be.
mermaids and whatever. Okay. So we've got 10 messages, and you want to check those out right off the bat?
Sure.
Okay. We've got a hello. I'm going to blank this out, but should check out blank on Facebook. That's my brother and I. I also wound up on my last ever date from Tinder with a Filipino person I thought was a lady. Long story.
Okay.
I think that's in response to our fishing for stories. So
yeah.
doesn't really go into details though. But
I'd be interested to know if the Filipino person you thought was a lady, if like that worked out for you. If like if that was like oh cool, well this took a turn for the better.
should we ask him to elaborate?
Why not?
Do you really want to know?
I just want to know if it worked out. Like, I mean, obviously still on a dating site, but
I'm just gonna write elaborate.
exclamation mark.
Okay.
Cool.
Send
Just
that
curious.
guy. Yeah. Hey, best friend.
We are not besties.
Excuse me. Hi there. How are you doing? I am blank. Can we chat? Nope. Nope, we can't. Hello. Hey. LOL, this one girl offered to help me move my furniture with her truck. It was an emergency, so I accepted the offer. When she showed up, she was a very big girl, which is cool. I'm glad he qualified that.
Yeah.
The awkward part came when she wasn't moving anything because of her bad knee, but trying to get every guy there to feel her up or take her home. We never used her truck. Eventually, she just left. We had to try pretty hard to ignore her. I had to be out that day, or I didn't get my rent back.
That's an interesting story.
That is. This guy is more enemy than match.
Cool story, bro. We're a podcast.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. But thanks for the story.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, we've got a want to fool around, gorgeous. You are a beautiful woman. I do want to fool around, but like not the way he's thinking.
Also, you got me with gorgeous. Is this like the thing you say when like men catcall on the street?
No, I'm telling you, there's this whole culture of guys who like anytime they see a woman post her picture on Facebook, they just write stunning. And it's just like
Majestic.
It's just a compliment, guys.
The next time you see that, you should have a couple of people just try to like one up them on adjectives.
That or like yeah, stunning when I shoot you with my stun gun to get you the fuck away from
Well,
me.
I just like to see like what's the most ridiculous word you can come up with to describe beauty.
How long you got? Not as long
A
as
while.
the podcast.
Come on, let's get into this.
No, I mean like we're gonna have a lot of dead air if I sit here trying to think of it. We've got a hi smiley face. Hello, how are you doing? Hey, how's it going? And another story.
Oh god, this is long. This isn't horrifying, but it's definitely flabbergasting.
Great word.
Scene. Coffee shop by river, outside table. A man arrives on his bicycle, hoping for a pleasant conversation.
This one's a writer.
He can't find the woman he was going to meet. She calls him from the chair at his right shoulder. She's lost a foot of hair from her photo and is now obese. Come on, man. Perhaps she's got a stellar personality. This could be a nice conversation. Boring pleasantries exhausted, somehow dairy and cattle enter the conversation. The woman insists that all cows are constantly in pain. He visited a farm as a child, and the cows were quietly sitting there. A calf came to the fence so he could pet its face. It seemed totally calm. No, cows die in pain, she says. He thinks the government regulates farms and slaughterhouses. The cows must be killed in a quick, humane way. She insists that it's physically impossible to kill something without pain. I've been put asleep for surgery and hit in the head with a soccer ball. I'm certain animals can lose consciousness without pain, he says. No, killing cows causes excruciating pain and is evil. She's visibly flustered now, and he doesn't know what to say. Stunned, he no longer needs to worry about this conversation. She's left on her bicycle. He decides to do the same. As his senses return to him, he realizes it was probably best that she left. He's glad he's unharmed and intact. End scene.
Thank you, shitty Mother Goose. Okay. I really...
Sure. I don't think that was as interesting as... It was basically...
No, he took the word story literally.
Yeah, like too literally. And like it wasn't even a good story. It's like
no.
Someone had an odd opinion that you didn't like.
Yeah. So try again there.
At least that was more entertaining than the last one.
No, and I'm glad we're actually getting stories now from people. That's a cool...
That's a +1.
Yeah, well, that's a cool new facet of this podcast, I think.
Random stories.
Yeah, so let's go to the questions.
A moment you've all been waiting for.
What is the longest you've traveled to meet up with someone from a dating app? Less than an hour, between 1 and 5 hours, more than 5 hours, or I've never met up with someone from a dating app. Who travels more than 5 hours to meet with someone from a dating app?
Gotta be really, really want to meet that person.
Or incredibly desperate.
What? Okay, hold on here. Before we pass judgment on these poor souls.
I said or incredibly desperate. So
no,
that's one possible circumstance.
What if you live in the middle of buttfuck nowhere?
Why do you live there?
Strange circumstances. Let's not get into this backstory. And you somehow have Wi-Fi and you online date, and the closest town is 6 hours away.
What, do they live in the middle of a desert?
Maybe they
Hi,
do.
I live in Death Valley and want a date. Come check out my cow skull collection.
No, but I'm thinking, like, if you live in, like, the Northwest Territories, like, you might want to travel a little bit if there ain't no good fishing around.
So we're saying, maybe you live in, like, the distant wilderness.
Clarify for people who aren't familiar with Canada, the Northwest Territories is a part of Canada.
I would hope that anyone who's listening to this knows that.
Do not underestimate people, but I'm sure you're all very smart. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Alaska for you Americans. It's right next door.
Yeah.
So, I kind of feel like Freyja's answer would be like, it was like 5 minutes, don't flatter yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think she would.
Again, I think it's like food. It kind of just appears, and she's there, and it just kind of exists for her. I think, like, the same thing with food goes for, like, dating or, like, having a date or, like, sexy times. It's just, like, it kind of just, it comes to her. It flocks.
Well, also, is this question asking for your first meeting or for someone that you've already met? because personally speaking, I did meet my ex on OkCupid, and I lived across the country at the time, so technically it's way more than 5 hours. But
Oh, that depends how far you can run and how quickly.
I think this probably implies for first meeting, and, you know, do what you want to do. But if your options are that sparse, then maybe consider moving somewhere else.
What if you really just like that tree you live in?
Get them to visit your awesome treehouse, then. So I think, yeah, she would say less than an hour. Or has she never met up with someone?
I can see that, despite being on a... I feel like this is her first time.
I think that's actually an interesting little buffer we could give her.
What?
Because if she's never met up with someone, that kind of explains more why she's more reluctant to.
Ah. Oh, we're
To
developing
mask-
her character.
And, well, also to, like, logistically, to mask the fact that, you know, she's not real and
Yeah.
we're people.
True facts.
Okay.
We're not real.
So, she'll accept, I think.
I don't think...
I think she'd be weirded out by more than 5 hours.
I guess I can see that.
And this is probably a little important.
Yep.
Now, what happened? Oh, yeah.
Oh, this was the one I was waiting to answer.
Yeah. Are you Christian? Yes or no? How deep of a rabbit hole do you want to get into here?
What were you thinking?
I mean, if we're gonna discuss it, I mean, it's good. I think it's good that they ask this, but I kind of doubt there are other religious questions that are that straightforward. Like, are you Muslim, or are you Jewish, or are you like,
Are you pagan?
are you Buddhist?
Are you a Satanist?
But I mean, there could be. We don't know yet, but
I feel like Satanists probably have their own dating circle. just gonna... Actually, I kind of do know that as a fact, but let's not go into that right now.
is it...
There's a story there.
It's like Dayton, Datan.
No. Get out. You're banished from the living room.
So, yeah, neither of us are. I was raised in a Roman Catholic family. Didn't take, despite the best efforts of... I think my mom was trying to find something that fit her spirituality and it didn't really take for her either. But we did go to Catholic school until... I was 3rd grade and my sister was in 6th grade. And yeah, just nothing ever happened. And, you know, we'd go to church, but it never stuck with me. I was never the kind of person who was just like, oh yeah, I buy this. And
I was born a heathen because I have been to things called moon circles. As a child growing up, that's
I mean, this
how
is
I grew.
why Freyja's like, she's inspired by your childhood, more or less.
I guess. And like, I just have a very I remember doing just like the weirdest like pagan shit when I was a kid because my mom was super still is like a really big hippie type and does strange spiritual metaphysical stuff that I, as a woman of science, do not believe in because there's no proof of these phenomena. Anyway, no, I was it still influences me today, but just kind of artistically.
Yeah.
There are tons of, like, we could go into moon
I do think it
circles.
possibly opened you up to more things like paganism, though.
I think it definitely took me to some strange places in my life.
So what were your experiences with Christianity growing up then? Like, how did you encounter it?
I didn't. Oh no, this is actually a great story. I think I must have been like 7 or something, and I was having a play date with this girl from the big city, because we lived in a small town, and I don't remember exactly what I said to this little girl, that like we were hanging out with, but I was like, I think it was I was referring to the Catholic school that was attached to our school. And I was like, oh, all the Christians go over there. They're so stupid, or like something like that. Like heathen from the get-go. And apparently she told her mom, and then when I asked my mom why we couldn't play with her anymore, my mom was like, well, sweetheart, you said something that really offended them. Oh, and they don't want to hang out with us anymore. And I was like, what? Christians are dumb. And my mom's like, well, yeah, but like, you can't say that. Something like that. I don't remember. It was a very long time ago. But like, that was my only, like, I've never been to church. I've never been to a service. I've been to midnight viewings of the moon and women dancing around naked around a fire. Like, that's my kind of, like, if that's your experience too, then like we need to seriously bond.
So basically the end of The Witch, except with, you know, less Satan.
Less Satan.
less,
it was
less
very
Black Phillip.
It was weird. No, it's weird because like we could go into like dark and like white magic and like all we could sound like a D&D podcast, and it would all be reflecting things that happen in reality, which is quite terrifying when you think about these things. But that's how I don't really, honestly, the most that I've encountered Christianity has been through mythology classes.
Yeah.
That's it. Otherwise, I've lived, like, if you have questions about, like, what sage does, I'm your woman. If you want a cleansing ritual, you just let me know.
Yeah, I don't have any particular affinity for it, but I respect people's, faith as long as they're not in your face about it, and that goes for every religion.
Like, I think the stuff that I kind of grew up with, I think it's pretty cool. I like the aesthetic of it. And, like, no, that's not cultural appropriation, fuck off. Because I've lived it. And I still use that kind of aesthetic today. Like, I still wear, like, a lot of crystals and, in my jewelry and stuff like that. Like, I definitely pull on that influence, but it's not like I'm a practicing Wicca or anything.
I think for Freyja, we're gonna give this a no, because I highly doubt...
Not at all. In fact, I designed her with spirit beads.
Right, unless she was, and she's rebelling by going all pagan hippie.
Nah, no, she's
You think she was raised this way?
She was just born that way, baby.
Okay. And would she date Christian?
I think there's some allure into conversion.
But also...
I have talked people out of Christianity. I just want to put that out there. It is such a moving moment to witness that.
Oh, I've seen some people who are very deep into it.
Yeah.
I used to work with a guy who handed out Jack Chick tracts, and I would thank him for them because those were hilarious.
You want to explain what those are? Because I didn't know
okay,
when
so
you actually
if you don't
did.
know, which I'm sure a lot of people have read at least one, but they're these little comics that are the most straw man arguments you have ever seen for Christianity. It would be like there was an entire comic about how Dungeons and Dragons called up literal spirits and the devil. There were blatantly racist ones, and like it was just like this old white guy who just hated everybody except Christians. But they were just so goofy, and their logic was so thin. And I used to actually legitimately enjoy reading them because they were so dumb. He passed away recently, actually. And, well, see ya, you old bigot.
I think it's safe to assume that if anyone was Christian and listening to this, you have stopped. So thank you for continuing on, fellow heathens.
I mean, you can certainly be Christian. Listen to this.
Yeah.
But I would assume that hardcore Christians, and I want to make the distinction there, would not be listening to this.
Well, this is...
unless they're digging for material to, make a little comic about us. And,
that'd be amazing.
And how terrible we are.
I invite that wholeheartedly.
Podcasting is the devil's work. Okay, so...
I take full responsibility for being the devil. It is in my name, after all.
So, I'll say that she will say she'll accept any answer, and we don't need to explain it.
Nope.
How do you feel about kids? Kids are precious. They love me and I love them.
Holy shit.
They're okay, but keep the unruly ones at bay. How revolting. Or I'm indifferent.
These are weird answers.
They are. And I think there are a lot more answers that could be here. But I kind of like the spectrum this gets across.
They love me and I love them. How does that not sound kind of like pedophile-y? Kids love me and I love them and I love them in the night.
It's all about the voice that you say it with. Like if you're like, kids love me and I love them, it's kind of like, okay, maybe you're really a family oriented person. But if you say kids are precious, they love me and I love them, that's
Which is barely discernible, but okay.
Have you ever heard the comedian Dimitri Martin?
Yeah.
He had a bit about how when you're saying that you love children, you can't be specific. Like if you say I love kids, that's fine. But if you say I love 12-year-olds, you're gonna be on a list somewhere.
Yeah.
We established early on.
I think it's really weird though that they love me and they love me. Like, why do you have to? Kids are precious. They love me. Like, just you. Like, why is that in there?
Maybe you're really good with kids. I don't know. But yeah, we decided very early on that not going to happen. I've touched upon this before, but I had an operation. I cannot.
I will not.
Yeah.
I refuse.
It's never been something that's been a goal of mine. We're both career focused. And you've told me to throttle you soundly if you ever turn around and say, I want kids.
No, I actually just said punch me in the uterus.
Okay, well, there's that too. I mean, I wasn't going to say it.
Because that would be wrong. Yeah, I don't want kids.
Yeah.
No, don't need to explain it further.
Well, I mean, even then, even when we see kids being shitty out in public, it just kind of annoys us both and we avoid it.
Well, the thing that sucks is
we don't have that instinct.
Like, you're at the age where, like, your friends have had kids.
Right.
And, like, no one's really pestering you about, like, having kids anymore. I'm at the age where people are getting married and thinking about kids in the future. And I have to go through, like, 10 more years of fucking pestering of, like, when are you gonna have kids? And it's like, never. I've told you this for years. Not happening.
No, the best reaction to that is to just start crying. Don't explain why, just start openly weeping. I hate it when people say that it's selfish. It's probably the least selfish thing you can do because you're actively preventing every generation of carbon footprints that could possibly spawn from you. So, and in an environmental sense, not having children is very selfless.
Yeah, depends on your perspective. Let's not go down this rabbit hole because I feel like we've definitely hammered this one out.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. I want to say Freyja, I could see Freyja being like, they're fine, but just like, don't want to...
Keep the unruly ones at bay, yeah.
Just like, yeah.
And I don't think she would rule out having kids.
I think if she got pregnant, she'd be like, okay, guess we're having a kid now.
No, we've established that she's probably had abortions, actually.
I just feel like it's like one of those things like, oh, if the stars have aligned and thus my abortion shall not take place this year.
It would have to be with a free spirit such as herself, though.
Yeah. Actually,
and not so free spirited that he'll just take off.
You want a crazy story that's kind of pretty much Freyja's story,
Sure.
but in real life, my mom had this friend who I think when we'd known her, I was a kid, but she was like in her early 20s. She went to Mexico somehow, I think wound up with a guy who ended up being like a major drug dealer, got pregnant and like was like held captive in his home for a while until like someone came and got her and her baby out of there. So like less free spirit, but still like kind of fucked up.
That's literally imprisonment and yeah.
Yeah, but like he was paying, it was like really weird situation, but like, and then somewhere out there, she and her daughter are roaming the world as free spirits. That was kind of the point of this.
I assume there were no charges pressed then?
No, because he ended up paying her a bunch of money.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Totally makes up for it, right, guys?
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you think she'll accept answers?
I don't think she cares. She's not in the kid game. She's just like, I'm here to fuck and eat and
She's
drink.
not on OkCupid for that, though.
I think I'm losing point of the show very quickly.
How important is it for you to make physical contact when showing affection for someone? Very important, somewhat important, not important.
This makes me think of like Collision. Like I literally have to like slam into you to show you I care.
Physical contact.
This is
How is
no contact sport.
Yeah. How important is it for you to have a contact sport? To me, it's quite important. I enjoy cuddling. I don't really care about displaying in public, but we hold hands and we generally get close next to each other on the couch when we're watching stuff.
Oh fuck!
So.
I forgot to tell you about the IKEA couple today. I found another one.
Okay, so there's this couple that we refer to as the IKEA couple because we saw them, and it's hard to describe just in words, but basically he had his arm around her, and she was like clutching him around the side, and they were sort of like walking in pace together, and it was like they were a symbiotic being.
We were in IKEA, that's why we call them an IKEA couple. We were just walking behind them in the showroom, and it's like they couldn't, like, we followed them for a while, and they would not let go of each other. And we've seen several others like that.
Well, you've also mentioned that there was a couple who went to the turnstiles at the
in one of the go. Okay,
station.
so two stories. The turnstiles at our SkyTrain, which is what it's called here, you have to use your card to tap in and tap out. And so this couple in front of me, when I was like trying to go to yoga downtown, would not break their hand grasp to move through the turnstiles, and all the card tapping is on the right, and so he was holding her left hand, and so he reached over with his left hand to tap in, and it was like rush hour too, so I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Just like let go of her hand for a moment if you can, if it's possible. The cool story today was I was walking back from my yoga studio, and right outside the SkyTrain station there was this kind of trendy couple, like guy in a nice suit, woman in a nice dress, like nice trendy looking couple, and they were just kind of like holding each other, like they were kind of dancing, but I noticed quickly her jacket was on the ground, and they were both trying to pick up her jacket without letting go of each other.
Oh my God.
And I almost stopped, and I was like, how and why have you decided to make this decision?
Do these people think that they're gonna just suddenly disappear like the leftovers if if they let go of each other?
Maybe there's something we're not seeing. Maybe there's like a bomb between them, and if they break touch, they'll both explode or something. I don't know.
they're in a
That's a reach.
symbiotic relationship where if they let go of each other, they'll both die.
I was like, really, you can't just like let go for a minute to pick up a jacket?
They're in one of those action fugitive comedies where they're actually handcuffed together and covering it up in public. So
You
no
know,
one will
my
see.
thought about that though was like, the longer the jacket stays on the ground, the ickier it feels to wear it after.
It's
So,
like the 5-second rule.
Yeah, no, it's like it's imperative that you get that jacket off of the ground as quickly as possible. And they were just like struggling to like this woman's in like stilettos and like they're just like kind of like tipping over, just trying to pick up this fucking jacket. And I almost wanted to go just be like, here's your jacket. Please stop.
I thought you said this was a cool story. That's kind of sad.
Did I bum you out?
A little bit. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, we derailed from this point.
Well, I mean, it was
a little
about,
bit
physical contact
touching.
when showing affection. Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
It's all good.
I like it.
I hate it.
Who hates it? There's no answer for that though.
Yeah.
I like actively disliking it.
It's just important to not important.
And I think we also addressed this in there was a cuddling question.
Yep, cuddles are good.
And
Make you
I
feel
think
happy in your brain.
I think it's somewhat important to Freyja.
I'd say Freyja's a like after sex cuddler for sure.
Well, you also said she's like that person who approaches you with the big hugs.
Yeah,
and-
no, she's a hugger. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what we said. She's a hugger.
So maybe it is very important.
I'd say
to
it's
her.
very important. Like, gotta touch each other, man.
And I don't think she'll like someone who's
Not
who
a
thinks it's
hugger.
not important,
So somewhat and very
and that's somewhat important.
important.
Yeah, I don't think it would be very important. Do you enjoy finding out what makes things work the way they do? I'm an information sponge, sometimes, or as long as it works, who cares why? So, are you a fan of how it's made?
Do you like knowing things?
I don't necessarily want to know how every single thing is made.
Actually, I do love how it's made. I think it's a
Yeah.
fascinating show, even if you're just watching like conveyor belts for 20 minutes.
It's a very good background show.
You learn really like it's a kind of like I didn't know how contact lenses were made, but now I do. So it's I don't know. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I once learned how they make kayaks, I think. I didn't retain any of that information, though. It was kind of just a moment-to-moment sort of thing. But, okay.
As an academic, this is pretty much my job, is to figure out how things work. Just
Freyja, on the other hand?
specific way. I don't think she gives a fuck. I think she's just like, yeah, whatevs.
Is she the as long as it works, who cares why?
Yeah.
Okay. Or is it sometimes for her?
No, I'd
Because
say...
maybe she does like making her own jewelry. We've established.
But as long as it works, why does it matter?
Yeah, sure. And I think she'll accept any of that. Have you smoked a cigarette in the last 6 months? Yes or no?
So is this for, like, club smokers?
It's a cigarette, so it's a pretty straightforward question, I think. There's no kind of there.
Yeah.
Though I wonder.
It was only half.
I think she would qualify this as do cloves count? Because I think we did establish that she's a clove smoker.
Yeah. I prefer to sleep alone with my partner, but apart. Parentheses, not touching. Touching my partner, embracing / cuddling my partner.
This is kind of interesting because I don't think anybody. I can't say anybody, but I don't think I've ever actually been able to actually sleep cuddling somebody. I move a lot throughout the night, and even if I fall asleep cuddling somebody, I won't stay there.
Well, that and, like, you go to sleep way after I do. So I just have to cuddle myself. Cuddle myself to sleep, crying every night.
Well, I mean, you don't know that I don't come in and cuddle you at night.
I think I would kind of figure that out, because I'd probably kick you which I've done before.
Yes, you have.
So I feel like I have a self-defense mechanism.
Maybe that's why I don't go to sleep at the same time as you, because you beat the crap out of me.
If you went to sleep at the same time as me, we wouldn't be having that problem. Also, I don't beat the crap out of you. Sometimes I hit you when you sleep. Sometimes when you snore really loud, I'll hit you and then you stop snoring. But I'm awake, so that is proper abuse.
So that's abuse. All right. Help me.
Power dynamics.
I think Freyja probably sleeps. I think she probably likes sleeping alone.
That was my intuition as well.
Yeah, but doesn't mind being with someone.
Yeah.
I think she'll like either of the first two, but
I'd say alone,
yeah.
and then just doesn't mind anything else.
Like even if she hooks up with someone, she'll go to her own bed.
To like hang out after. I see her being the kind of person who smokes after they have sex with someone, and then like she's like, I'm gonna fuck off to my own place now. See ya.
Do you believe guns should be allowed in schools?
I
Yes, always. Sometimes it depends, or no, never. We addressed this before.
I know, but I read that as ghosts first, and I was like, of course they should be allowed in school.
So we did touch upon this a little bit. I don't remember what the exact question was.
No, we went into that
but...
a lot, and I definitely went on a tangent about school safety.
Yeah.
So we don't need to repeat that, I don't think. But no guns in school, never. Terrible idea.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, I think I went on like a mini rant about that. In many studies, kids are clever. They find ways to get weapons
Windows.
Like there's
Yeah.
just, I mean, like just look at prisons. Like kids will get it done if they need to do it. So
And schools are like prisons, aren't they?
for some people they are, yes. I definitely felt that way back in the day.
Though, you can get an education in prison too.
We're not advocating that you go to prison for school. Just want to make that clear.
No, there are much better ways. Although, you don't have to pay for it.
And you get free food, free lodging. It's
So go to prison.
Guys, it's a good deal.
Make sure it's in like Norway though.
Like in a nice. Then you get to live in like the woods in like
In a hotel room, basically.
Yeah, with internet access and knives. They trust them with knives. And it works. It actually helps rehabilitate people into society.
Yeah, but if you
uh,
live there, you'd have free education anyway, right?
Yes. That is correct.
So maybe don't go to prison after all.
And not if you're in Norway, no. Guys, just go to school. Stay in class, kids.
Stay in school.
And
support education reform.
Yes, please. And listen to the people who study it and all that good stuff. No is the only acceptable answer to this
and
question. That's very important.
By the way, when we were at the Safeway earlier, did you see the guy behind us wearing the "Ted Nugent is my president" tank top?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Do you think he was wearing it to be ironic or like?
He did not look ironic.
Okay. I'm quite oblivious most of the time.
America is leaking.
Yeah. That's all the people coming up from Abbotsford. I swear to God.
In a relationship, I like to discuss politics with my partner. All the time, sure, I'm interested in sharing our beliefs. Sometimes it depends, or hardly. Politics are boring or personal.
This is less
boring or personal?
Okay, that's interesting. But this is more of a am I interested in politics rather than like, do I like to discuss it kind of question.
Yeah, well, it's not talking about political beliefs. It's more whether you want that interaction
in your relationship.
Right, yeah.
I feel like in a communicative relationship, you would just talk about whatever's on your mind. And if politics happens to be that, then it should be a safe space to talk about politics.
So maybe, sure, I'm interested in sharing our beliefs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be our answer.
And I think she would explain it with, but I don't really care.
Yeah. But it goes back to this being one of the core make it or break it questions in relationships. If you don't have the same political alignment, you are not going to get along very well.
Yeah. And I don't know, I personally, I mean, yeah, we'd address every topic, but I don't generally sit around with you and talk politics other than like, hey, look at the newest stupid thing Trump did. But we do bring up things that Trudeau is doing, both good and bad. And
I learned the other day that they actually document his daily activities and you can see it online.
does everyone do that?
What do you mean everyone?
Every country's leader?
No.
I think they should.
But I was surprised because I saw it and it was like Friday, personal day. And I was like, oh good, he's taking day off. That's nice. But it tells you like when his meetings are, not like minute by minute, but gives you a general sense of like who he's meeting with.
What he accomplished that day.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a good way to be accountable to your country. Go Canada.
4:00, Tim Hortons. Every day, every week on this day, he goes to Tim Hortons.
I was just surprised. I was like, that's very in depth of like every single day someone has to update that.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever you were just about to say for this question, just write that.
And she'll accept whatever.
Whatevs. Maybe not all the time.
Yeah, too late.
Okay, well, fine. I guess that's it.
You told me to answer it.
Oh, well. What's worse on a first date? No physical attraction or nothing to talk about?
Basically, how superficial are you?
It's important to remember, folks, that both of these things can develop over time.
Right. But first impressions are important. I do think, you want to look presentable for your first date, but...
I would weigh these equally.
See, I think that having been on several dates from this site in the past, even when there has been no physical attraction, I've still, made efforts to make conversation. And I've had good conversations with people that I haven't found mutual attraction with. Like, if there's no spark there, we can still be friendly, we can still talk. I haven't stayed in touch with them. Like, I'm still in contact with people that I met there from here years ago, but not, it was never in any kind of romantic way.
Dating just sounds really awkward and stressful.
It's exhausting.
I'm so glad I never did this. It just sounds like not my cup of tea.
Well, it's also expensive because you have to meet all these people for the first time, and a lot of them expect, oh, let's go here for lunch, let's go here for dinner, or something like that. And that's one of the reasons why I started saying, let's meet up for coffee or a beer, just to make sure that we get along enough to go on a date. And, I spun fire for one date once and just walked along the beach. So, that was a very cheap date.
Surprised that didn't take off. That's quite impressive.
That was a story on its own. I think I told you about her. She was the one who had just gotten out of a relationship.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and was super flaky.
Yeah.
I would say that she would think nothing to talk about is worse. I can still have good conversations with someone I'm not attracted to. Would you be okay with your significant other spending a lot of time with one of his or her exes as a friend? Yes or no? There was that one, like an ex is coming into town. This seems like a more intense version of that. Mm-hmm. I guess it depends on the circumstances, really.
I think it entirely depends on the circumstances.
Yeah. Another false dichotomy.
Yeah. Because, like, what if your ex suddenly, like, switches sexual orientation? Like, I don't know, just like there are these. I think this comes with like a high threat versus like a low threat.
Oh yeah, if you have like an ex that turned out to be gay,
Yeah,
and
like
you still
were
wanted to stay
straight,
friends with
yeah,
him, like if that was the reason that it didn't work out
then
between you,
then you'd obviously
perfectly
be okay.
acceptable,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd just be like, yeah, go for it. I don't fucking care. Like I know nothing's
yeah,
happening.
we'll still be besties.
Yeah, why not? But if there was like a really strong emotional attachment, that's something I would be worried about personally.
Yeah, I guess it depends on
I
how
think
close
this,
they are.
it,
And...
like I obviously this gets at trust issues, but I also think it gets at boundaries and where you set your boundaries as someone in a relationship with someone else, because like even like it depends who this person is to your significant other, but your feelings should also be respected.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, if I had an ex that I was still close with, I would want to know that you could be friends with her.
Yeah.
In addition to me, because I wouldn't want to cross that boundary if not. Like, if you didn't get along, then I would, take my current relationship over a previous one. Otherwise, you're just hanging on to the past there.
Yeah, true that.
And Freyja?
I think she's fine because I tend to see her as someone into open relationships anyway, and not really carrying around any sort of.
I think she's friends with several of her exes.
Probably sleeps with them too.
Are they really exes at that point then?
It's a blurry line.
It's not even a line.
It's
a cloud.
The cloud.
And she'd be okay with that?
Yeah.
Or would she not? No, I don't think she'd be okay with no. Because that would be kind of controlling.
Okay, let's take
right?
a hard stance on that then.
And I think somewhat.
Somewhat.
I think she should say, I'm still friends with several of my exes, deal with it.
Yeah.
How do you think your sex drive compares to what is typical for other people of your age and gender? My sex drive is higher than average, about average, below average, or I'm insatiable.
Just need to fuck all the time. You cannot control my genitals. They have lives of their own.
And this is also kind of interesting because it's how do you think your sex drive compares? Mm-hmm. So it's what you assume as typical for people of your age and gender, which is not necessarily accurate. So there's a lot of wiggle room in this question, which I find interesting.
How old did we make Freyja?
She is 28.
I assume she'd think she probably has a higher sex drive, because I can see her friends being like, Freyja, you just get around. All the time, like it's kind of annoying how easy it is for you.
Well, we said that she stays in relationships for short-term period of time.
Short term, sure.
So,
But we're talking about sex drive.
Yeah, true.
Not relationship. This is purely sexual. This is the sex of the sex questions.
Yeah. And she loves a lot of people with her genitals.
Yep, she does. Her genital love knows no bounds.
All right. And she... do we want to say she's
I want to say
insatiable?
she's insatiable, just like, I will generalize that shit out of its shit. I don't know.
That invites a lot of extra creepy messages, I hope you know.
I'm ready.
Okay. For some reason, we like being creeped out on this show.
Well, it makes for interesting content, does it not?
Yeah. So I think she'll accept... Will she accept any?
No, I'd say
she needs someone to keep up with her.
Insatiable and higher than average. And that is very important.
You don't think she'll take about average?
No.
Okay.
Very sexual. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
How important is it that your partner be willing and able to participate in meaningful philosophical conversations? Extremely important, somewhat important, or not at all important?
Define meaningful philosophical conversations.
Also, like when you say philosophical, a lot of people kind of think, oh, musings, but it is like a study, you know? Like it is a formal education in philosophy. Like, you can get a degree in philosophy, and that is much different than what we use. Like, the meaning of philosophy is different than we use in everyday life.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, where it's like, how often do you debate, like, Plato and, like, all that good stuff?
But who are philosophers today, though?
That's a very good question. I've not thought about that.
Like stand-up comedians, maybe? Entertainers?
And I guess it depends who you would consider. Like, what would you consider philosophy today?
Just musings on the nature of humanity, really.
Because pretty much everyone
Podcasters.
does that. I think anyone could be a philosopher.
Yeah. Especially now that we all have a medium to do so.
Yeah.
The types of philosophical conversations I would rather have are probably more on the existential level.
Might I pose a question of what's a non-meaningful philosophical conversation?
Shower thoughts?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Okay.
I'll take that.
All right. So I think for Freyja, she probably has what she thinks are meaningful conversations.
Yeah, I can see her being a little bit dull on this. Not very sharp on the...
Is that extremely or
standard.
somewhat?
We have talked about before how she really likes having conversations with people and like the human connection. So I'd say it's pretty important to her.
Okay.
Whether or not she knows any better, well, that's Freyja for you.
And I think she'll take extremely or somewhat.
Yeah.
So let's get into our top three. One of our top three is now one of the second row people that we talked about last week. So we match with her more.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy is a straight man, and his self-summary is ask. And that's all he's got.
Okay. See
ya. I believe we talked about her.
We did.
Yeah, so she would probably win our top three, I'm just saying already, but unless this third person is amazing. And he's... Oh, I thought that was a snake. It's actually a scarf in his picture. Now I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in you. So, but he is a hetero-flexible man looking for open relationships. He pretends to be serious, but he likes to laugh. One of those people who talks about ethical sexual relationships in open relationships, that's got to be a term in that circle.
Maybe we should look that up.
I think we should. We should research that.
I feel like it's one of those words that describes something you could describe better with different words.
Oh, this guy's a fencer. That's interesting.
I want to do fencing. Jelly.
And he's a gardener. Cool.
Yeah, wait, go back, guys. 6 things you could never do without. The letter C.
Yeah, because all of the other ones are...
See, I know, but okay, that's... Oh, you're so cute and clever.
Caught your attention.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of...
One of the things he spends a lot of time thinking about is how to learn about feminism without feeling gross about the status quo. Haven't found an answer yet. Oh, I like him.
I kind of do. Like, I feel... Yeah. Freyja would be digging this.
Yeah. He likes playing board games. Cool.
I think he wins.
You think he wins over...
As much as I really enjoy just, like, the alt look, I have to go with the guy
there
who's
wasn't a lot
substance.
of substance in her profile.
No, gotta go with the guy who has substance.
He seems pretty cool.
He's solid. Not bad.
Yeah.
I think, not bad match for Freyja.
Cool. Yeah, I think she'd get along with him.
Now, dear listeners, we bid you adieu. And leave you to go into the night.
What are you doing?
I'm doing... Just let me be.
We did accents a couple weeks ago.
I'm bringing it back.
Throwback.
We'd like to thank our listeners
Throwback Friday
for following the show. You can find us at our website, faculty.ca. That is FAKVLTY.ca.
This is going to take forever.
Which has links to our shows and archive at our iTunes and YouTubes and other content we've written and recorded.
You can spread the word with the hashtag FindFreyja, FINEFREYJA, or support us by leaving us a review on iTunes, which would be awesome.
Please do it.
I'd also like to thank James R. Bayless for lending us his voice at the top of the show. In our little disclaimer, you can reach his voice agent, Gemma Crow, at gemma@turnerfilmgroup.com. This has been Find Freyja. I'm Mark.
And I'm Natasha.
As always, love someone with your genitals.